Disclaimer notice. This video is for entertainment purposes only. All information in this video is not based on fact. It is all alleged, based upon my intuition, my opinion, what I believe my tarot cards are telling me. I encourage each and every one of you to do your own research, form your own opinions. After all, I'm just a blonde throwing cards.
Good morning, guys. As a lot of you well know, the remains of Elijah View have been found. Found by somebody. He was found on private property. The landowner that found him, he was preparing his land for hunting season and came across poor Elijah's remains. You know, I have a thing here, an issue that I feel that when it comes to these poor missing children, even adults, okay, that law enforcement needs to, and our government agencies need to treat each missing person as worst case scenario. Immediately, as soon as a parent reports a child missing, or a relative reports a child missing, anybody reports a child missing, they need to immediately put out an Amber Alert and treat it as not just abduction and kidnapping, worst case scenario, criminal case, until that child is found. If that child turns out to be a runaway, just downgrade it. It's not criminal anymore. You know, I think if police would not treat every, like, let's take a teenager, for instance, or preteen. They want to treat them as runaways immediately. My opinion is, I think more lives can be saved if they treat it immediately as worst case scenario, not a runaway. That's just my opinion. And that they need to take these missing children more seriously. Now, I'm not saying every police officer or every police department is like that they blow off a child that disappears. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, it seems to be a growing problem with several thousands of police departments across the country, across the world. Okay? And I just think that they really need to take these cases more seriously. Now, Elijah's mother, she is, hold on. She, along with her boyfriend, Jesse, they're both facing charges of neglect. I want to dig into the cards just to get an updated energy read on this. Are either one of them or both of them going to be charged in his unaliving? I have my suspicions. Allegedly speaking, entertainment purposes only. I think Jesse's guilty of sin. But that's just my opinion. But let's go ahead and dig into the cards and see what they have to say. Okay. Elijah went missing on February 20th, 2024 from his home, and don't ask me to name towns. I just know 2 rivers. It's not. I don't think it's Twin Rivers. I think it's Two Rivers, actually. Anyhow, Katrina, his mother, sent 3-year-old Elijah to her boyfriend's. Now, this boyfriend, Jesse, he was, I think he had a rap sheet. He had violent crimes. DV, you name it. It was an on and off relationship between Jesse and Katrina. But she sent, allegedly, I'm wondering how true this story is. I'm anxious to get into, when I profile the perpetrator, who this person is. That's where the truth is going to be told. But allegedly, she had sent Elijah to Jesse's to grow up and be a man. Seriously, be a man. A 3-year-old. Basically, she didn't want the responsibility of taking care of Elijah anymore. I think that is my opinion only, allegedly speaking. But I'm going to use this true crime deck today. This is from 1111 True Crime. I did send her the file, and hers was corrupted. I emailed her the file that I had that's not corrupted. I opened it just fine. But I just wasn't able to print her deck. So I wrote all the information on blank tarot cards. Sometimes I don't need the images. Sometimes the words just jump out. And I could picture the cards from her deck in my mind's eye, actually. Someday I may actually print it. But let's see what we have. Law, police, detective agency. Just kind of want to get an idea on where this case is going. So, this is telling me, okay, we know that they are in custody on charges, both of them, on child neglect. Okay. One thing that is really sickening is the one picture of Katrina. A mugshot. Almost looks like she is smiling. It's like, seriously. Drowned, submerged, or death. They did not release a cause of death on Elijah at this point. This is curious to me. Very curious. I want to do this because I'm not going to keep them on the table. I'm just getting some oracles first before I dig into the tarot. Spouse, partner. Bingo. I'm wondering if Elijah was drowned, submerged, like in a bathtub or something, and then deposited. Betrayal, trick, duped, backstabbed. Betrayal. Okay, this is saying here it's possible that, I'm going to cringe when I say it, but I've got to say it, that Jesse is being betrayed by Katrina. Maybe Katrina did something to Elijah. That I had that kind of vibe set up. Okay. Immediately, I'm getting this image of the spouse, the partner, Jesse, being tricked into something and being framed. Wrong person. Police are looking at the spouse. They're looking at Jesse on this. I think they're looking in the wrong direction. That is what I'm getting right there. not saying that Jesse's any kind of great guy. He is not. He's the furthest thing away from a saint that you can almost get. Let's get Ashley's deck out here. Okay, cut in half. I did not prepare this quite yet. We got to mix them up a little bit. Okay, I'm not worrying about reversals in this. I'm not using reversals this time around. I'm setting that intention. Whatever card comes up, I'm taking that card as face value, turning it upright if it comes out reversed. That's just the way I am feeling today with these oracles. I notice that people like Alicia Wicker never uses reversals with her oracles, and they're always spot on. It's all about the intention. Ashley does, and that's her. Sometimes I do. And if you're new to my channel, and when I shuffle, I will bullshit. Okay? I think it probably annoys some people, but it gets my mind off the shuffling and lets the cards fall where they're supposed to fall. Okay? And sometimes I just think that it's like it's mindless. Some people get annoyed to my ramblings. Other people, but I think it's better than dead silence while I shuffle. What do you think? Yeah, I guess I could edit and speed the shuffling up, double time, triple time, quadruple time, or whatever. But because I have to almost work full time doing DoorDash now because of YouTube revenue going down, and I talked to other creators. Everybody's noticed that the ad revenue has been cut. We're at the mercy of YouTube and their greed. I just gotta put it out there. Okay. That's why a lot of content creators are actually quitting. Because it's not worth it. They're going to get other full-time jobs again. Okay. Let's do some clarifying here. We'll start with this half because I can only handle half the deck at a time. Okay, show me information about the law enforcement. Okay, there's fear with law enforcement. What about the fear outside? Okay. Out in the open. So he was found out in the open. The fear has to do with what do we do now? Fear of outside agencies. It's like, do they have a certain this makes me think that they may have a certain agenda. Let's solve this case. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong that this is not another case of let's solve this case as quickly as we can. I want one more card from here. Below ground level. Yeah, they're keeping some things very close to their chest. Oh, they're afraid of certain information leaking out that may sabotage the case. But there's still an element. They're keeping low key. They don't want anybody for any outside agencies getting involved in this for some reason. Interesting. Let's go to this deck. the drone. Clean up. Wow. Cleaning up a scene. Cleaning up what? Weapon. Something happened. Party celebration. Something got out of hand. Here's what I'm getting with the drone. I think an accident may have happened that they had to clean up. Okay. Drowning is the method. The weapon is reminding me of the actual weapon of water. Okay. Party and celebration. I think that somebody had some shit in their system. You know what I mean. And something got out of control, out of hand. Show me the spouse. Wow, that really wanted to fly out. Break up, divorce, separation. Okay, so if I remember, they may have been separated at the time. And she called Jesse up to ask him a favor to help her out with Elijah, allegedly. Routine, and that was typical. Get back together, break up, get back together. And he was just going about his own business when this happened. Gift package. He received the gift of Elijah. Was he breathing? Well, yes. Gaslighting and control. Was he breathing? Yes. So he was already manipulation, gaslighting. The gift of Elijah, yes. She took Elijah to him. Because there was a war going on in the house between Elijah and Mom. Okay. Now, this trick and betrayed. There is a higher power involved. Somebody high up. Royalty, important. Follow the money. I think that there was supposed to be a deal that go down where Jesse was going to sell him to get rid of him, but something did not go to plan. Framed. Blackmail paid off. Being blackmailed and set up because of Daisy, stop. Sorry, I am a dog mom. Because of a deal here that went south. I think the original plan was traffic. Certain kind of traffic. And there was danger. Paper trail. There is some kind of paper trail or some kind of evidence. This is why they don't want outside agencies in here. Frozen, preserved, frozen in time, winter time. Okay. Let me get this other deck. I want to know if Elijah was delivered to Jesse in good health or not, if you understand what I mean. Did he have a heartbeat when he was delivered to Elijah? I can't get away from that. There was a war. There was something that happened within her house. And there was something going on. I'm getting some images and some downloads, almost like maybe she had the intent of the sale sent to Jesse to teach him, to prepare him. There was some kind of seeds planted, and a contract. There was definitely a contract. Saturn restriction. Learning. So she sent him off. Structure, foundation. This is kind of like the intention was to send him to Jesse to learn to be a man. But what happened? Maybe and it was all self-love. It was all about, and I'm getting more of a selfish energy. This is not answering who did it, though. An epiphany, a shift. There is going to be a breakthrough. But that royalty makes me think that there was a deal between either Katrina or Jesse with somebody else, or they may have been in it together as a partnership with somebody high up that might even have connections in law enforcement, which would make sense that there's something below ground level, something on the download, and like an underground thing within the law enforcement. They are afraid of outside agencies coming in and digging shit up. This makes sense. It feels like this was a business deal that went bad. And when I was shuffling the first deck before I started recording, I had a business arrangement pop up, and I put it back in the deck. Okay, letting go. This is the death card. This is Pluto. So there was that is his passing. That's Venus. What is Venus doing on it? I still don't think Jesse did it. At first I thought he did. But the energy I'm getting, freedom, Uranus. A new direction. So the case is going to go into a new direction. I don't even know that the mother did it. We've got the setup because of a betrayal involving her partner, Jesse. Now, the drowning card could be the method or drowning in the situation. Doesn't have to be a literal drowning. In other words, you know, the cleanup, trying to clean up the evidence of what really happened to him, involved a setup. Somebody was very clean about this. Wondering if it was a professional job. The war card I'm very curious about. But I'm not getting anything. One minute I think it's Jesse, the next minute I'm thinking it's Katrina, the mother, or maybe they both were involved. Like, did she go to pick Elijah up, or what happened? There seems to be some kind of money involved. That's why I'm thinking of selling some kind of business deal that Jesse and Katrina had with somebody else, somebody in power that went bad. Something bad happened to, excuse me, Elijah. And there's a cleanup about it. Somebody's drowning in evidence. Somebody feels like that they're drowning in this situation and they don't know what to do. But this law enforcement, these cards here, when law enforcement came out, I was wondering, what the heck? But it's like they are afraid of outsiders, outside agencies coming in and investigating. They're trying to keep everything on the download because there's some kind of underground operation with somebody connected to law enforcement. People, how many times do we see this going on? Too much. Let me see if the situations deck will give me any other answers before I clean these up and get into the tarot. This is a double deck, 2 different situations, oracles that I put into one. Same creator, but different decks. Okay. Any other information you could give me about this situation? Give me 2 cards from Mom. 2 cards from Mom. Unclear path. Step by step. It's like very unclear the path that she was heading down. Very unclear path with Mom. One more card for Mom. Pretending, fake. It's very unclear on what was going on with Mom because she is pretending. She's being an excellent actress. Put it that way. An excellent actress. I think Mom knows what happened. Okay, 2 cards for Jesse. An encounter. I shit you not. What kind of encounter did Jesse have? Poor choices, bad decisions. There was an encounter, there was something that happened, and he made a very bad decision. Okay, give me two cards for this bad decision. Hey, guys. Two cards for this bad decision. We'll get one card from each pile. Two cards for this bad decision. Unlikely source. An unexpected, unconsidered. So in a decision, he did not consider, I'm getting consequences. Certain consequences he did not consider. Give me another card, please. Okay, we got more than one. Okay. Yeah, we got several. Okay, happiness, resurrection, magnetism. So there was a certain outcome that he was not considering would happen. The resurrection is bringing something back, rising up out of the ashes. It kind of, it's recovering from something or making a comeback. And this magnetism is drawing something towards you. This is, he did not take in consideration the consequences of a bad decision. He was kind of like narrow-minded, or tunnel vision, thinking that he is attracting happiness, and the resurrection is recovering. So it's like recovering from a bad situation that he was going to attract happiness and wealth and stuff towards him. So I'm going back to my business deal thing. A business deal that went bad. Now, we've got all this framing issues and stuff like that. Okay, let's get these cleaned up and make room for some tarot spreads. You doggies are going to get put out of the room here in about 2 minutes. If you can't behave. Okay. We are making room. We're making room. Okay. And this is a good place to stop and say, I am having another true crime channel that does not involve tarot cards. It's just telling true crime stories. It'll be linked in the description box. Instead of the celebrity tea, it is a crime time story time. Is the name of the channel. Switching it up again. Did all the artwork. Okay. So let's see what is going on here. The first thing that I want to do is the crime itself. Elijah's unaliving. And see what insights the cards can give us on that. Okay. Daisy, stop. Okay, the crime itself. We have the Emperor in the reverse, an abuse of power. The Emperor typically represents a father figure. So maybe my first instinct that Jesse was involved, but I'm curious about the setup, which we will get to later. But this is somebody who was abusing their power. And then we have the obstacles to solving this crime. I had to put the dogs out of the room. The obstacles is the Knight of Swords, somebody on the run. Somebody who is very aggressive, who had a certain agenda. There was a fight, there was a battle, a conflict. Swords usually represent thought, words. They could be action, but it's something I'm getting. And knights are fire. So you got fire and air here. A heated argument, heated words, potentially threats, but as an obstacle for law enforcement, somebody's on the run. And allegedly speaking, entertainment purposes only, I'll go as far as to say maybe it's one of their own involved. Maybe neither one of them, the parents or the boyfriend, did anything to Elijah. I'm just saying, hidden influences. Eight of Pentacles. This was work. This was a plan. This was a business deal. There was money exchange involved. Somebody getting paid for doing certain work. I'm getting a download right now. And for those of you who don't know this or unaware, here's my other baby. And I get things. I read the crystal ball. In fact, I'm going to put her right there. Okay. That's Mildred. Okay. She just said her name, Mildred. Okay. What I was getting is, and I'll see if it comes out in the cards, but I'm going to just put this out there, that Katrina owed somebody money for rugs or something like that, couldn't pay up. Katrina and Jesse were broken up at this time. And there was a window of opportunity that somebody may have paid Jesse to do something. I'm just putting that out there. Okay. Then, the past. We have the Magician. This is somebody that has the tools and the resources to get the job done. This is somebody who pulls the strings. This could also be illusion or trickery, but this is somebody who's very resourceful. Pulling a rabbit out of a hat. A puppet master. So there's somebody above Jesse. Okay, the motivation behind this crime was the Hermit. Many times in true crime, the Hermit represents the home, seclusion, privacy. The motivation is somebody that could be wise counsel, looking for the light. I'm going back to Katrina again. Has something to do with Katrina. Katrina wanting to be alone. There is something odd here. Some swift action. A sudden decision. Sometimes my Knight of Swords is like a lower vibrational energy of like the Tower to me. Okay? The motorcycle, I'm getting something about transportation. But there's a business deal here. The Hermit is something about the home. The influence around this crime, the motivation for it. I might have to pull more cards on that one. The future direction, the steps that may be taken in this investigation. They're looking at both of them. Law enforcement is not just looking at Jesse or not just looking at Katrina. They're looking at both of them. Almost like the investigation's taking a look at them being in this together. And it was a bad deal that went a deal that went bad. We'll figure out that why in a moment. Now, what's the perpetrator's state of mind, or their state of mind, their emotional status right now? Mental, emotional. The death card in the reverse. This is a decision we can't go back from. This is, their position is, oh shit, they found him. Uncovering. A denial of what happened, of the passing. Other people that could be involved, 3 of Cups. That's a party. That's friends and associates. I'm telling you, there's a business deal involving Elijah. And what I'm getting is that his passing was not caused by these people, but were as a result of these people. There was an exchange. Katrina had to take Elijah. Remember when I asked if he was breathing, and as I was asking the question, the yes card came up. So when he got to Jesse's house, yes, he had a heartbeat and he was breathing. But there was a war that was going on, and that was falling under the spouse. So there was some heavy shit going on in that house, in Jesse's house. And I'm kind of thinking, and I'm just throwing my ideas out there, because I'm getting images and I'm trying to decipher them. Typically, even with dreams or with a crystal ball, that its symbols are usually very symbolic. And just like a tarot card or an oracle card, you got to figure what the fuck they're trying to tell you, right? I'm getting the image here that I keep going back and forth whether Katrina did the dirty deed, or if Jesse did it, or if there was an outside source to make it look like. I think they were both in it together. Is that what the setup is about? They're both in it together, but Katrina is going to try to sell him out, make it look like Jesse is the only guilty party when she was involved herself. Let's keep going. What are the investigators hoping to find, or what they're or fearing? Okay. 3 of Swords in the reverse. So the investigators, the police and stuff, now that Elijah has been found, they're hoping that the community can now heal. And in the long term, the potential resolution over the long term, the Hierophant in the reverse. The potential is somebody turning on the other person. That is where that setup card is coming from. Of where I said like the spouse, the partner, the setup, wrong person, things like that. That I don't think it was the wrong person, but I think they are getting it wrong that Jesse wasn't the only person. I think something happened in that household. Somebody lost their temper. Something happened to Elijah. And that's why the business deal went south, because they were being paid money in exchange for a living, breathing, with a heartbeat. And they weren't getting that. And I think part of, they weren't being paid money. This might have been payment for a past debt. But that Hermit card was throwing me. Can I get a clarifier for the Hermit, please? Definitely feels like it had that. I think that was telling me it was happening in the home. 7 of Cups. Got all that water. Remember the Drowning card? And the Hanged Man. Looking at things from a different perspective. A sense of enlightenment happening. And the 7 of Cups is not only my illusion card, it's also my rugs card. One of my rugs card. Making me think that rugs in the house made the two individuals see things from a different light, from a different perspective, which led up to what happened to Elijah. Death in the reverse. This is a denial. 4 of Swords. A denial of the resting place, and he was out in the freaking wilderness. Look at the imagery on that card. In brush, in debris. This is, I think, their knowledge. Page of Pentacles in the reverse of the Child. This is plain out saying that they knew exactly what had happened to him, and they're in total denial. And they're still going to proclaim their innocence and deny everything until down the road somebody's going to turn on the other. And I feel like it's going to be Katrina turning on Jesse for him to take the fall for it all. And she thinks she's going to get off scot-free on that. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I'm doing another spread. I want to take a look at the perpetrator, kind of profile the perp. And I think there's 2 of them. I'm just saying. I think both of them are involved. In my humble opinion. And I'm not laying this out in a cross. I'm laying this out differently. Okay. I think the cards are ready. Okay. Okay, the current state, we're getting a confirmation. The current state of the perpetrator, their core. The dominant trait. The World in the reverse. it's not over yet. They know it's not over yet. Something wasn't completed. A lack of success. That could be indicating them thinking a lack of success of pulling this off and getting away with it. And the challenge that the perpetrator has that can impede or influence their action. Justice. They're gonna face justice. They are gonna face justice. Whether it's one person or more than one. Justice is gonna be served. So they are facing justice. That is the challenge right now. And the past events, these are the traumas that shape that shape their motivations and their actions. So, and trouble with the law in the past as well. I'm just putting that out there. 2 of Wands in the reverse. They had their whole world in their hands. The perpetrator or perpetrators had a chance to start a new cycle. But because of their decisions, they're kind of stuck. They made a bad choice. That came up for Jesse. Remember? A bad decision. The secrets that they hold, the Lovers in the reverse. They were not together at the time. And I think that there was a fight between Jesse and Katrina as well. Things were not good between them two. Don't know if that's been out there in the media or not. Because the way I started this video, I said there was not a whole lot of coverage on Elijah. In the beginning, there was, but as things slowed down, when they thought the case was cold, it's like not very many people were influencers or anything like that picking up the camera and talking about Elijah. I tried like a month or so ago to try to get Elijah back out, his name back out there. But I don't remember. I know that they weren't together, but there was something else going on there. My God, you're saying, keep track of things. And this is what was hidden. Okay. The motivations. Six of Wands in the reverse. Somebody felt like they were fighting a losing battle. Something was failing here. There's a lack of confidence with this person. A lack of value, a lack of self-esteem. With the Six of Wands in the reverse. What do I have to lose? I have nothing to lose. I have nothing. Okay, what is the next moves with this perpetrator? Four of Pentacles. They're not going to give up any information about Elijah. They're not going to give up what happened to him. They're going into protection mode. Self-preservation. They're not going to be forthcoming about Elijah. Not yet. Emotional state. Five of Swords in the reverse. This is bullying. Winning at all costs. There a lot of negativity. There's mental torment. Okay? And it's something that keeps coming around. This is telling me this is somebody who has some very deep-seated emotional and mental issues. Possibly stemming from childhood that it's like I'm getting like a child wounding. Okay. Current influences. These are external factors affecting the perpetrators is the Ace of Wands. Ideas. Creativity. Aces are beginnings. New beginnings. I get the flame has been relit. There's some kind of enlightenment coming about. And I'm getting the big S word, SEX. Passion. Could even go to, I don't want to really say temper. I would see that maybe in the reversed, but somebody here with the bright idea that was influencing this person that is now haunting them. 9 is the mental state. The psyche. Okay? Any disorders or issues. This is the emotional. Emotional manipulation in the reverse. So it was like kind of happening to them. If this was upright, I would say they were doing this to somebody else. In the reverse, it was happening to them. That's why I'm going back to potentially a childhood wounding. Temperance are very calm. Mental state. Very balanced. Mentally, calm and balanced, but maybe even confused. Remember in the last spread I said a sense of denial when the death card came up? It's coming up here too. Like, it's not my fault. And mentally, they're going over the story in their mind. It's not my fault. I didn't do this. And trying to create a story to justify certain actions. It's making me think of Mother, actually. And the eventual resolution of the situation. Hangman in the reverse. Remember this in that one spread that was saying that they came up with, like, their new perspective was distorted by some kind of liquid or something they swallowed. You understand what I'm saying? Or smoked. In the reverse, the reverse typically says tunnel vision, not seeing things from different perspectives. I'm getting that the eventual resolution, I'm getting them narrowing down on a suspect. But the tunnel vision bothers me because I'm getting this image of one person. I think there was two involved. One person taking the fall and the other person getting off. For lack of evidence, because they're tight-lipped. They're not saying a word. And I'm sorry, I think that's Mama. And the reason why I got that setup card is becoming more and more clear here. Interesting. Okay. I want to get this deck out for a minute because I want to understand a little bit more about what I was picking up on about a childhood wound. So let's just kind of, I just want to get a couple cards, one or two cards to help. I want to understand the internal wounds. And we're going to go with Katrina first. Show me Katrina's wounds. Solar plexus. Difficulties in personal power, self-esteem. I told ya. I said somebody. Stress and burnout. Prolonged stress, exhaustion that can affect physical, mental, and spiritual health. That's why she wanted Elijah to go to Jesse's. Your ego. The process of transcending the ego for spiritual growth, which can be challenging and disorienting. I'm getting because of her self-esteem issues, I think she probably something in her childhood caused self-esteem issues where she wasn't sure who she was. The ego is the self, okay? The ego is the self. So she was not sure who she was. She was feeling burned out and stressed in the process of trying to figure out who she was. And I think Elijah added to that stress. And that is why she sent him off. Okay. Let's take a look at Jesse. So I was feeling like they both had some issues. Ancestral wounding. This is generations. Curious if somebody dug into his family history, what they would find. This is a wounds that have been inherited over time. What are these ancestral woundings that happened over time from generation to generation? It's something that keeps getting passed down. Spiritual bypassing. This is avoiding or unresolved psychological issues through a focus on spiritual practices. So this is ignoring oneself and unresolved issues, spiritual issues, and this goes back. This is a very spiritual thing with Jesse. But there are certain psychological things that he may have inherited along the way that's in his bloodline. Inner peace obstruction. Yeah, he is unhinged, and it is something hereditary. That probably proper medication through a medical professional and through psychiatric treatment and counseling, etc., could probably help in this situation. Just saying. So, I think there's going to be a resolution to the case, but I think somebody's going to get away with something as well. As I am not feeling like Mama Dearest is going to. I think it's all going to be put on Jesse. That's my prediction. I think. Let's just ask this deck if Mama Dearest was present. I'm curious if she was present when shit went down. I think she was. Was Mama Dearest present when things went down with Elijah, the angel? Handcuffs. No. Okay, she wasn't present. Handcuffs. Angel. Her hands were tied up with something at the time he became an angel. Well, that was direct. No, she wasn't present when things went down with him. Okay. Did she have any involvement in the crime? Not taken into consideration that she sent Elijah to be with Jesse for a while. But outside of that, did she have any involvement in the crime? Like physical involvement, not just knowledge. Any physical involvement in the crime. I mean, that could be help hiding the body or whatnot. Did she have any physical involvement in the crime? Did Katrina have any physical involvement in the crime? Strength? Scourge? Strong punish. This is strong punishment. That led to his demise. It was the punishment that led to his demise. Straight razor. An accident. It was an accidental through punishment. Overflowing emotions. Cornucopia, money. Oh my God. It just hit me. She did not have direct physical involvement, no. But what I am getting, cornucopia is the money. Emotions overflowing, and I think a threat of harm. I think she was being threatened, and she sent Elijah to Jesse's, thinking Elijah was going to be safe there. And it gives her a sense of freedom. Now, this is making no sense. I'm getting a no. So maybe I had her pegged wrong. Let me ask one other deck. I gotta be sure, because my intuition's telling me one thing, the cards are saying something else. I could be interpreting the cards wrong. The coffin could also be putting him in a box or putting him in something. Did she have any physical involvement in Elijah's deletion? Any physical involvement? Cards are saying she wasn't physically there at the time. And he's saying as his unaliving was a result of excessive punishment. I think it involved water. There she is. There's the mother. What about her? Protection. Searching. Power. Compass. I apologize. I was about ready to say something and I had a coughing fit. Again, I'm getting no. No physical involvement. However, she knew where he was. She knew what happened. Give me more on the bear. She's protecting her commitment. A big bear. That could be a boss also with a contract. Involving the child. Contract. I shit you not. There was definitely some kind of contract involving Elijah. A contract. A big one. Okay. And she sent Elijah off. To Jesse's. And the unthinkable happened. I'm not supposed to be talking, I don't think. I'm coughing and coughing and coughing right now. I don't know what to say here. I'm right on track about a contract involving Elijah. I'm getting a bill of sale with somebody really big. Somebody went searching for him. And he was moved. Moved out of her home to Jesse secretly. And then there was some kind of discipline happening that got out of hand. Yeah, there's some movement. There's the stork. And change. The time was up. Changing. And there is something about the timeline with the traveling. So there is a timeline issue with this. The timing is not correct. That may even come out with the autopsy of his remains. A lot of travel here. But he was only found in that yard, like, wasn't even very far away, I don't think. Star. Sense of direction. Guidance. Somebody was coming into town and they had to get out. I still think that there was a higher power, higher authority, a big boss that Katrina double-crossed because I think she owed them money for something. And so she was had a plan with Elijah to get money. She was locked into that. And then she delivers him to Jesse. Jesse's involved in this exchange plot. Elijah probably acting up. Some method of discipline got out of hand. And that's what happened. The world in the reverse is it's not over yet. She still has something to worry about when it comes to the people that she owes money to. It's not over yet. She's safe right now because she's behind bars. Something happened to her in prison, that would be like a really big deal. That somebody doesn't want to bring that kind of attention at this time. So, yeah, pretty shady. I feel drained. I need to drop this now, this energy. My assumption is something happened in Jesse's care. Some discipline or something got out of control. Could somebody have come into Jesse's house to discipline Jesse? You know, I'm still the setup thing. That's what's getting me. But I can't look. I might have to do a part 2 when I refresh my energy. Take a fresher look at this and say, what is the setup involving Jesse? A very quick reading, maybe later on or the next day or so. But here, folks, I've got to drop the mic.